Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
Memo bibiara kwa ba eba PENDREAM TV. Say we are new to the channel. Best also subscribe to channel no like video no wa share ama afofon so ensa and kabi. Na Murtala Mohammed one of the NDC MPs in Parliament. Or the NCMB atudwa anasa wakasa fa UTV invasion no. Our describing and say attack on Ghana's democracy. Na oka NCMB efa manase azure the publication bia oyeye. Emra na former President John Dramani Mahama ete Ghana akunya kesi muno. Those publications ni na no NDC an attack homo na Ghana Emma media no the freedom to speak on issues. Afin so no o tres letter A+ etitimu enuti a tax estome UTV so omo kwakọ ye na enye do ano o tres A+ embreki emrabia na o tres emra na former president of the United States of America Donald Trump. Okan speech we no lady na oye speaker of parliament. I think say a friend and nice policy or said no I mean shadan kaidi no otete paper no na I don't know and I will be say what crime did he break. Now the NPP could have dealt with him as an NPP member instead of going to him or instead of attacking him on UTV. And same way ne ensema hodo bi na Murtala Mohammed ediatoja me pesa obeka me ho na yakotie ensema okanye. Answer na beko no subscribe to channel na click notification bell no so like it jumadi na share ma afofron so ensa enkabi. PENDREAM TV wo another platform a friend no PENDREAM FM e hono yeji wadwenkyere efa ensema ekoso ewo o my Ghana. Na obey say obe send a voice note afa number ya eda o screen so no through WhatsApp. You be publish ama amansan ate wonka. Number ni 0277128777. And don't forget say obe subscribe to PENDREAM FM. Kame ho na yentie sene Murtala Mohammed ekanen.
First and foremost, just thank a friend who bought me a book entitled The Zealot. And I think that I would encourage that those who want to have an appreciation of the evolution of these religions, I mean the three Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, not based on the theological aspects of them, but the geopolitical influences and how they all evolve. They should read that book. I got the book some few days ago, and I want to thank Baba Alaji for that book. I would urge that people read that book. They will have an understanding of this. A statement have been made, and he premised a statement by saying that the NDC was described as a violent party. Unfortunately, the NDC allowed that particular untruth to get legs to stand when they made those statements. You remember the statement was first made in the 1992 elections. People misconstrued the PNDC to the NDC. I don't feel ashamed to be associated with the PNDC. And I tell people that I was encouraged to join the NDC because of Rawlings. My late father didn't like Rawlings at all, and he didn't do so justifiably because of the banning of the Tamale market. But my late father never had any problem with any of his children joining NDC. He never, but he had problems with any of us attempting to join the UP tradition because of certain experiences. So now I remember in 1996 when we had the Great Alliance, my father was going to, by the way, my father died at the age of 97. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. When he was going to vote in 1996 and came out of the house with his walking stick, he asked me, what position is Lawyers Party? My father and co were those, Lawyer Ibrahim Mama. You remember we had the CPP, went into Great Alliance with the NPP. So when I told him, I was very young, when I told him that no, that the PCP is not there, it's an alliance, so if you go, you are voting the NPP. My father returned. He never voted in 1996. And by the year 2000, Allah's will, he died. Let me also put in context. My grandfather was one of the founding fathers of the UP tradition, the Tolena Yaku of blessed memory. So I have a linealogical whatever ties with the Buzadanko tradition. And as a little boy growing up, I developed the interest in reading about the political history of this country. And Sana, the more I read about the political history of this country, the more I distanced myself from the Buzadanko tradition. And I will urge my friend to go read 2 books. I have them in my library in Parliament. In my office in Parliament. I can make them available for you to read. I believe you would have read one of them, Martin Maridev, The State of Africa, and a book entitled The End of the Illusion, written by one SB Feature. I have them. And I'm making references to these 2 books because these 2 books were all written by non-Ghanaians, non-Africans. As a matter of fact, The State of Africa, written by Martin Maridev, was written from CIA declassified documents as to how the so-called colonial masters, how they relate with many African countries. J.B. Dankwa was a CIA agent. He betrayed Ghana. He was unpatriotic. As a matter of fact, the NLM was formed. You know where they formed it? In one of the rivers in Ashanti. And Ashanti war drums were beat on that day. I mean, they were beaten on that day when they formed the NLM. Now, if you are forming a political party and war drums are beaten, culminating the formation of that party, clearly, those who founded the party clearly knew that they were founding a violent group of individuals to perpetrate terror on the people of this country. So if there is any political party that is associated with violence, your tradition, as a matter of fact, your tradition, put bomb into a little girl just to kill Nkrumah at Kulungugu. A little girl. How callous could you people be? Put bombs. By the way, you are no longer.
No, but it was not put by the UPL.
But who?
I'm not the
As a matter of fact, when a commission was set up to investigate, it was established that it was done, instigated by the Uforiates. So don't run away from that. I am telling you, put bombs into a little girl just to kill Nkrumah. That was what your tradition did. Matimuhu, in Kumasi, Krobadu's sister was barbarously murdered because the brother had something to do with Nkrumah's administration. As a matter of fact, in Kumasi, women, they used pestle, pounded at the private parts of women in Kumasi. People were killed, and the only crime they had was what they believed in Nkrumah's ideology, and they were CPP members. So when we talk about violence, you cannot attribute any violence to the NDC. They only go back to talk about some of the excesses of the PNDC and the 31st. I have been a victim of some of the excesses. My father's stores, my mother and my stepmother's stores, my brothers and sisters were all bent. They were the excesses of the 31st. But that doesn't preclude my belief in the ideological position of the NDC, and for which reason, okay, I am in NDC. So if you want to talk about the violence of political party, NDC has never been a violent political party. So assuming without admitting that NDC can't insulate itself from the excesses of the PNDC, and you cannot insulate yourself from the violent nature of the LLM, the UP tradition and other, the Kulungu, let's assume. So let's say that, let's all forget of that and come back to the Fourth Republic, where the NPP and the NDC were all formed as new political parties. Of course, getting its ideological positions from what the traditions, these two traditions believed in, largely by the UP. Why? Show me one single incidence of violence that the NDC did. You have, particularly to the media, under President Kufuor, a journalist was sent to his home and Babet, Sakura, in this country.
Under President Kufuor.
You don't know?
But you want us to go into general issue?
No, I'm saying after 1992. That's the point I'm making. Look, we can talk about the excesses, what we did, but the NLM, the UP, what we did was disaster. We don't, in fact, we can't even go there. But I'm saying that let's come back after 1992.
Fantastic. They didn't do for me.
I'm saying, good, granted, but you took a journalist to the seat, the house, the private home of the president and barbed him. Why in this country? We had a court of competent jurisdiction that sat on a matter in which the Ashanti Regional Security Coordinator was beaten to pulp by hoodlums, demagogues, terrorists. They beat this man. These individuals, so-called individuals, were arrested. They were being prosecuted in a court of competent jurisdiction. You had these people, they went there, attacked the judge, attacked everybody, but for the intervention of the police, the judge would have been lynched. Now, you know what the police did? The police arrested everybody except those who were found in the video when the attack was done. Immediately after the attack, a gentleman granted interview brazenly in Kumasi, stating that they led the attack. That gentleman was never arrested. They arrested people who were not seen in the video, knowing very well that when they go to court, they won't have any evidence to prosecute them. At the end of the day, what did they tell us? Nolle prosequa. And nolle prosequa is not acquittal. What it simply means is that you don't have enough evidence at this material moment, and therefore, anytime you get the evidence, you proceed with the prosecution. As we see today, nothing happened. Court of competent jurisdiction. In Tema, you had a town hall meeting, and in that town hall meeting, you had Delta Force members who were given mic, and they threatened everybody in this country except themselves. Hajia Fati, who sat at the party head office. Sadly, she's using idea. I feel embarrassed. Beat a journalist, and you know her response? That she mistaken the journalist to be an onion seller. As if onion sellers don't matter. As if onion sellers don't have. Your party never gave a jot about that.
My former party.
Your former party never gave a jot about that. Now, again, look, and I agree with you when you said there has never been a president or presidents in this country, in this fourth republic, berated than President Mills and President Mahama. The day Manasseh published his cock and bull story about President Mahama, about the fourth story, which ended up to be untrue. That was the day President Mahama lost the mother, that morning. The morning when he lost the mother. And you can imagine the trauma that all the family members were going through. Manasseh decided to release that story that day. And NPP communicators went to town with it. Some of them are ministers today. They went to town with it, disregarding the ethical standards or the values expected of any African or Ghanaian. In the eyes of these circumstances, they went to town with it. It ended up to be a lie. Manasseh was never attacked. Manasseh was never threatened. Manasseh lived in Ghana and continuously published same stories against President Mahama. When Nana became president, Manasseh had to flee this country, and even when he returned, he had to be provided with security because your party and your government threatened his life. That was media attack. Now, in the eyes of this, the most annoying aspects had been the statements issued. The least said about the statement issued by the GIG, the better. Who are they trying to please? Concluded by saying that they expect the media houses to maintain some level of professionalism. What is unprofessional about a media house being attacked? Then you have my good friend Kojo Nkrumah. He is frustrated now. Everything he's supposed to do is done by Eugene Ahin. Everything that the Ministry of have you been hearing of him? Yet he gathered some faint energy and issued that statement. A media guy who had been in the media for a very long time suddenly decided to throw that ethics and professionalism to the dogs because he's now wearing a political gown. Also saying that media men should act responsibly. What is irresponsible about what happened? And by the way, the attack of that media house was sanctioned by the NPP. The gentleman who led the hooligans, the demagogues, the terrorists, those stupid individuals who led them to that media house is the acting regional youth organizer of NPP. He is the acting. He is the deputy regional youth organizer. The regional youth organizer has actually resigned to contest an election. So that gentleman is acting as the regional youth organizer. And he led the team. The party sanctioned it. And ironically, the very persons they went there to attack, what didn't A+ say about President Mahama and NBC? What didn't he say? I mean, his own account said, upon all the things he said about President Mahama, he met President Mahama and he greeted him warmly. These are the kinds of leaders we want. Again, that particular station, go and watch in a 2. Go and watch that man, the UTV TV. They bring people there, they don't even bring, and they say all manner of things. Peace FM, Kwame Sefakan ran the station without NBC for 4 years. Peace FM, because NBC decided to boycott. That is what decent-minded political parties do. If I disagree with you and I realize that all avenues to resolve the issue are not resolving, I boycott. When we had problem with multimedia, we didn't attack multimedia. We boycotted the station. Yet you have TV stations that runs programs with people. Kwaku Baku, who doesn't know, he was the spokesperson. Now he's quiet. I don't know why my senior comrade is quiet. Maybe after this program I'll call him to find out why he is now in a complete state of incommunicado. He used to communicate for them. But Newsfile will bring another NPP person and bring one NBC person. Did we ever say anything? So I'm saying that this attack was not an attack that was done at the blind side of the NPP. The attack was sanctioned by the NPP. Now, criminal libel law, and these lies have been told time without number, create the impression as if the criminal libel law was put in our statutes by the NDC or the PNDC. The criminal libel law, disastrous and shameful as it is, had been in our statute before independence. Not a single person in this country, even under PNDC, was prosecuted and convicted on the basis of criminal libel law.
There were people that were prosecuted.
No, they were prosecuted, but the conviction was on contempt.
Yeah, but they were prosecuted.
Yeah, I agree, but I'm saying that why? You prosecute on something and you are convicted, that should be the basis. So, and they create the impression as if the NBC, it was put by Rawlings and that. Look, let me tell you, there are a lot of excesses about former President Rawlings that me, publicly, I condemned. But I'm saying that lie should not be told on him. And again, the criminal libel law today, President Nanado is now taking credit for the repeal of criminal libel law and not appointing authority President Kufuor. The criminal libel law was the policy position of the repeal of the criminal libel law was the policy position of President Kufuor, then candidate Kufuor. And by then of what? Nanado became the Minister for Justice and Attorney General. So automatically needed to lead that team. That was not his policy. So if you want to even give credit to the repeal of the criminal libel law, it ought to be given to President Kufuor, not this uninformed, corrupt president who speaks recklessly on international issues without conscious of the feelings of the people of this country. And it is also significant for us to make this point and make this point very clearly. Now, it seemed to me that everything that the NPP ever did, at least they have some few good things they did, it should be credited to President Nanado. Even when he was the Minister for Justice and Attorney General, the mess that he created, that one credited to President Kufuor. But any seemingly good thing that they did should be credited to President Nanado. So I'm saying that in the eyes of this, where is the Ghana Bar Association, that hypocritical group of individuals? Where are they? Have they made a statement on this matter? Have they given a jot about this? And don't you think that attack on an independent media house is an attack on our democracy? Yet they found it convenient to make statement to condemn President Mahama when he expressed his opinion on a matter. How more hypocritical can the Ghana Bar Association become? How? And they don't think that denying people the equal space to express their opinions and take stands on issues democratically enhances the growth of our democracy. They don't see that. They are in a complete, in fact, they have caca. They can't talk. So I'm saying that is the level of hypocrisy. And the GIG, I don't know who they are trying to please. And the current GIG leaders, anytime Nanado zigs, they zag. Nanado, if Nanado asks them to jump, they ask, how high should we jump? A body that has a duty and a responsibility. Your first call is to protect the institution that you have been elected as leaders. Particularly when that institution is attacked. That is what you should do. And in any case, who determine to any media house what their programs should be? Is it an Article 186, precisely so? You cannot even determine to them the programs they run. If you disagree with them, there are channels. That is why the NMC is there. If you think that you have met them and you couldn't resolve, as a matter of fact, I have a video. One of the hosts of one of the programs on UTV, a lady, who said that they never even gave them the letter.
Yeah.
They shared the letter. Now they are blaming A+ for tearing the letter.
That you never said.
What law did she break? What law? That woman, the former speaker of the American Parliament, Pelosi.
Yeah.
After Donald Trump addressed Congress, she took the speech, tore it into pieces. What law did she break? In this country, we had journalists who sat down on TV and said they intercepted cabinet memos, minutes of cabinets. They were hailed, they were praised. What law did A+ break? What law? Tell me. What law? What thing did he do that was so sacrilegious that ought not to have been done by anybody who sat on a program? That they thought the thing was an entertainment program and it has become a political program. And by the way, the condemnation of that statement for me was the most hypocritical and deceptive way of deflating the barbarism of these young demagogues of the NPP. Why? If you want us to take it serious, sanction that gentleman, not condemn him, because he did that in your name. And today, the youth organizer, my kid brother Salam, I am shocked that he actually said he is taking responsibility of this. I think he would do better if he's so desperate of wanting to be re-elected as the NPP youth organizer in opposition. I think there are several ways he can. He has an integrity as to protect, as someone who is growing politically, even within a political party that I disagree with. So I have this advice for my kid brother. He needs to distance himself from some of the barbarism sanctioned by the most violent political party in the history of this country.
Okay, thank you. This is the GJ. To refer to the GJ, these are portions of a statement they issued.
Read the last two paragraphs.
They said, and I'm trying to get that statement, but they also says,
Give them out,
in fact, finds this act barbaric and medieval, and it is very much consistent with the building blocks in recent times to establish a state of impunity against the media, one that is worse than the famous culture of silence. They continue to say, we wish to inform such evil minds, both orchestrators and actors, that the media in Ghana have survived all forms of clampdown in the past, even under dictatorial regimes, and that we shall never be intimidated or silenced by any form of attack. So those are portions of a statement that they issued.
No, read the last paragraph.
I'll get
them up. When they asked that they should demonstrate some level of professionalism, what was unprofessional about what? They attacked them. Criminals attacked them. Instead of you defending and condemning the argument, says that they should demonstrate some level of what demonstrates some level of professionalism. That gave them up.
Yeah.
Well, Dr.
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Ah nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.